Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I am a beauty and skincare lover, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a makeup tutorial. As you can see, I'm using my Hello Kitty mirror and my hand mirror. So let us get started. I am always going to prioritize skin prep before my makeup routine. I just want to make sure that my skin gets all the right things it needs so that it can look good under my base. And the first step of that is just me wiping my face with a toner pad. I love using a toner pad. It really just gives my face a clean slate for other skincare products. And of course, I'm going to let that air dry just so as I apply other skincare products, mixing them in isn't harder than it needs to be. Now I'm going to apply the Cetaphil Moisturizing Cream. This is a thicker moisturizer, but if you take that time to work it in, it definitely seeps into the skin beautifully and it does not pale under my makeup. So I really love this moisturizer, especially if you use like stronger skincare products. It'll make sure your skin is locked and moisturized. So I definitely recommend this. And of course, the most important step in anyone's skincare routine, sunscreen. I am using Sunkiller Perfect Water Essence Alcohol-Free SPF. This is a Japanese brand, I believe, and I've been getting them for a while now at Tesco. It's only $7, so I just, buy. It really is an amazing brand. There's no white cast. It seeps into my skin amazingly, and it keeps my skin hydrated throughout the day, and it works really well under makeup because, it is water-based, so I don't really need to worry about it clashing with my primers or anything like that. And of course, I'm going to be using lip oil to make sure that my lips are hydrated throughout my makeup routine. I got the specific one in a pack at Five Below, a few years ago, and it's still here with me, and I really like it. Skin prep is done, and I gelled down my eyebrows with edge control. So let's get started with the makeup. After I gel down my brows, I like to let them sit for a little. And when they're done sitting, I just like to add eyebrow gel to them. I'm going to use the Absolute New York Brow Gel in the shade Espresso. And I just, vigorously put that on my eyebrows. It's okay if it looks messy because that's the purpose of me cleaning it up after. Then I'm going to use the e.l.f. primer. I believe this is their watermelon one. I actually really love this. I apply like 5 drops of it. I apply a lot so that I can just spread it all over my face. And as you guys can see, there is like a white cast appearing when I apply the primer, and that's coming from the Cetaphil Moisturizing Cream. At the time that I am doing voiceover for this, I do use a water-based moisturizer so that this doesn't really happen. But this isn't really a problem, and it doesn't affect how my makeup turns out. It just turns a little white, so it just requires a little more blending. Of course, I'm going to apply eye cream, so the under eye is moisturized and has that, glow. I apply a little more lip oil, so nothing is lost. And I'm going to use the LA Concealer in the shade Chestnut to clean up my eyebrows. This process can take me either like 10 minutes or 20. It all depends how grown up my eyebrows are and if they want to cooperate with me on that day. If you see me using my glasses during the time I'm doing my eyebrows, I just like to put them on so I can see from a different perspective how my eyebrows look. My glasses usually tell me if my eyebrows look crazy in real life or they're okay. And the trick I like to do as I'm trying to make my eyebrows skinnier, even though I have a lot more hair than necessary, I just like to comb them in. I like to comb the top hairs in because usually we're trying to brush up our eyebrows, but combing them inward can make them appear smaller, and that's why they look really snatched here. Once I feel my eyebrows look good, I blend some of the concealer onto my eyelids because this serves as a base for eyeshadow, and the concealer on top of my eyebrows, I just blend that into the rest of my skin. So everything looks seamless and blended. I'm going to take the AOA Vanity palette, and I'm going to be taking the lightest shade to set my lids. I really love using the lightest shade because I feel like it brightens my eyelids, so that makes the eyeshadow appear more on my skin. Because remember, when you're of a certain color, eyeshadows just don't appear on you. So using a brighter shade to set your concealer really just helps to brighten stuff and make them appear more pigmented. Now to build the crease, I'm going to be taking this shade. Although it is a little light and you can't really see it that well, this is just a great transition shade to start with. And I'm just going to apply it to the crease and blend. Now I like to mix some of the darker shades in this palette and apply them to my outer crease. When working with super dark shades, I just like to be very careful because it is very easy to apply dark shades and they can just overpower your eyeshadow look. So I just like to really place them and pack them on the outer edge and just take my time blending that in. And then I also take my crease brush from last time and just blend that in also. So everything just works together and nothing is too overpowering. And in this step, I'm just taking a flat brush and I'm taking the lightest shade and I'm doing a cut crease kind of look. I wouldn't say cut crease because I'm not even cutting the crease, but this method I'm just putting the lightest shade where I would usually put, shimmers. So I'm just doing a basic all matte glam. I mean, technically this could also be done via the cut crease method, but I really didn't want to do all of that. I'm sorry. So I'm just placing the lightest shade on like the major points of my eye and just packing that on, also kind of blending, but just really packing that on and making sure you guys can really see that color. Alright, here comes the hardest step when doing my eyeshadow. Eyeliner. I'm taking this NYX eyeliner, it's in the shade black, and I'm just trying to do a thin line. I'm not trying to have my thick eyeliner moment. As you can see, I'm just following the shape of my eyes. I believe this is my right eye. And honestly, doing eyeliner on both my eyes is easy. Making them even is the problem. Because as you can see on my right side, facing forward, it appears that it's a long line. But from this side that you guys are seeing, it's really just short. But on my other eye, it doesn't really have that curve. So it's always going to be longer than the other one. That's the problem. Now it is foundation time, and I'm using the Anastasia Luminous Foundation, and I'm also mixing that in with this, I believe, Maybelline foundation, their darkest shade. Now when I do my foundation routine, I try to go for a darker base so that when I apply my concealer and powder, it lightens up to be my natural skin tone. I feel like that's a great advice for any black woman, especially the dark skin girlies, because if you go with a foundation that is just your exact shade, it just ends up being slightly lighter, and I just feel like that looks really weird. So I just recommend going darker. And now I'm taking a flat brush and just blending that out, mixing them together. As you can see, in comparison to my face, this is much, much darker, but that is okay. And I'm not really going under my eyes because, concealer's going to be placed there, so there's really no need to. But if you feel you want to do that, go ahead. I also like to clean out my eyebrows with my foundation and go down the middle. And I'm taking a Real Techniques brush and just blending out and buffing out that foundation. I'm trying to ensure that it looks flawless and does not have brush streaks. And I'm using the concealer. I'm using the Too Faced concealer, just the smallest dots, because this is a tad too light for me. I need to go to the next shade that has a golden undertone. This is just a little too light. And then I'm going in with the e.l.f. contour / bronzer. I think this is their deepest shade. And just, placing it on the perimeters of my face in dots. And I'm also placing that on the edges of my chin. Chin or jaw? Jaw. And I'm taking a e.l.f. brush and just blending that out. I'm really focused on my placement of it because that is still an issue I'm having. Just making sure I'm placing everything right. So if you see me just, looking in the camera, just trying to, chisel or whatever, that's just me looking if I'm placing in the right area. And then I'm going to take the e.l.f. Putty Blush. I forgot what shade it is, but this is honestly my fave shade. Like, I am just so in love with oranges, especially this brighter reddish orange. I just feel like it looks so beautiful on my skin tone, and I can apply so much of it and it'll never be too much in comparison to when I apply pink blush, like I guess this berry tone pink blush. Woo, it can get overpowering real quick. I just love the shade. And I apply it to my cheeks and of course my nose. I love a good nose blush. And now I am blending out my concealer. I am taking this small dense brush and I'm just really packing that concealer in the center and then also just spreading that out and blending. So I like to pack, tap, and spread. And I'm extending that concealer all the way out. And then I'm going to take my more flat brush and just tap that in and blend it so it just looks, really seamless and no brush strokes. Period. I really want to make sure that my concealer and my blush blend well together. So that's why tapping is really important. And then I'm going back in with my blush brush and just tapping that in so that it blends with the concealer. I don't want there to be a line that makes it obvious where the blush and the concealer are. I'm blending out my forehead. I like to line my eyebrows, of course. And I'm taking my base brush, the brush I used to blend out my foundation with, and just blending out the concealer on my mouth and on my forehead. To ensure that my contour and my concealer blend on my forehead, I just go back and forth with the contour brush and the foundation brush. And then I'm just going back in with my foundation brush and placing it wherever I placed my concealer. And setting my cream products with setting spray. Now it's time for the powders. I'm going to take the Anastasia setting powder and I'm also going to take the Airspun Loose Face setting powder. And of course I'm going to use my powder puff to apply that. I like to mix the two colors because the Anastasia powder on its own is just way too orange for me. So I mixed some of them on my hand, the powders of course, and I just like to place that where my concealer was. And I also like to use that powder to kind of shape my nose. applying this to where I place the concealer on the bottom of my face, around the mouth, above the mouth, below the mouth. And then I apply to my forehead. It's okay if it takes up most of my forehead because I'm going to go back in with my contour powder and just diffuse that. I was jamming to the music here. I don't know which song I was listening to, but it was good. Now I'm going to take this Ruby Kisses powder in the shade Ebony and apply this where I applied my contour. Before I go in with my blush, I like to go back to my eyes and just focus on that again. So right now, I'm just adding inner corner eyeliner. This is tricky for me because the inner corners of my eyes go down differently. One goes more straight and the other goes more droopy. So making them even is really hard. But this time, I didn't really go for a dramatic inner liner. I just, followed my inner corners and, God led the way. I also like to go back in and re-emphasize my eyeliner and make it more dramatic because sometimes the eyeshadow can cause it to lose its pigment. And I'm going to be cleaning up that inner corner when I make like a mistake. And now I like to take some brown eyeshadow and just emphasize my under eyes. I got this technique from Douyin Makeup, which is a style of Chinese makeup, and I just love doing this in my routine now, so I never skip it. I just feel like it adds so much dimension to the under eyes and it makes them really pop, I don't like to be too dramatic with it. I just like to underline basically my under eyes, like the bags underneath them, and kind of like emphasize them and kind of drag that out. I'm not really doing the proper Douyin, I'm just kind of revamping it to fit me. And now I'm taking the lightest shade and just placing that on the actual bag. So you see there's like a nice contrast. The white eyeshadow with the dark liner, quote unquote liner. And I just think that eats. Bless me, I sneezed. And now I'm going in with the Too Faced mascara. I don't know why I was trying to show that when you guys could not see it. But this is my first coating of mascara. I like to say this is my primer mascara because this is just what helps to bring out my lashes and just prep them for my second application. I actually really love this mascara. One of my aunties from church got it for me and, this eats. When I have the money, I'm definitely going to buy the full-size version. I don't know if you guys saw that the mascara was doing its job, but I promise it was. And now I'm going onto my bottom lashes and just prepping them for the second application as well. I don't really like this brush for emphasizing my bottom lashes because I feel like it's a little too big, but it does do a good job of bringing some out. Now I'm using the Nicka K mascara and I'm combing it through my lashes. This is the second application. This is my fave mascara. I get it from the beauty supply store from I don't know, it's very cheap. Maybe like $1 and something. And this has been my tried and true mascara for some years now. And I really love it. It really brings out my lashes. It elongates them, makes them appear. And I kept looking into the camera here because I thought the camera would pick up on how well of a mascara it is, but it isn't. So I'm going to insert a clip of, my eyelashes looking good. when I'm done applying this, of course. And I actually really like this mascara for applying it to my bottom lashes. I feel like it really brings them out. It coats them beautifully. And this is what my lashes look like in real life. They are there, okay, y'all? The camera was just not picking that up. And now I'm going back in with the dark brown shades and just re-emphasizing my outer corners. Because sometimes when I apply mascara, the mascara does get onto my eyelids. So I just like to make sure they're covered. And I'm blending. And now it's time for blush. I'm using the Juvia's Place palette. I think volume 1. And, applying. I'm using the orange shade to apply my blush. My fave shade. I do go kind of ham with blush, but you guys know I'm a blush girl, so. And I apply to my nose, of course. And now I'm just taking a fluffy brush and blending out my setting powder. And this is an important step for me because I want to make sure that my under eye and my blush really go together, even after I apply the powders. And of course, I go back in with the blush brush so that everything melts together. And now I'm applying my lipstick. I use it as a liner. I think this is the Ruby Kisses brand. They're dark. My lips look crazy, but don't worry, we're going to clean that up. I'm going in with a bright pink liquid lip. I don't know which brand this is from. I think the label wore off. It was looking way too cool toned for me, so I went in with this NYX Butter Gloss to make it more warm toned. I absolutely hate cool toned lip colors. They just don't suit me. And now I'm going in with this Essence Clear Gloss to blend everything together. I love this gloss. It really hydrates the lips. And I'm kind of wiping a little of my lipstick off because there was some pieces of my, skin or my lip on it. So I had to check that. And now I'm lining my lips with my powder puff. And now I'm setting my face with the setting spray. And this is the part where I just re-emphasize everything. I re-emphasize my under eyes, I emphasize my contour powder, and I emphasize my blush. So I'm just really tapping that setting spray in and ensuring longevity. And of course, I'm re-emphasizing my beauty marks with the eyeliner. And the final step is using the Makeup Revolution fixing spray to lock in that makeup. And of course, I'm taking off my head tie. This is when my hair was new. Get into it, get into this color, get into everything. And I like to do my edges or redo them because I already do them before my makeup. And I take the contour brush and just tap that in. And that is it for this makeup tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying this long. What do you guys think of the makeup? Any techniques or tips that I gave that you guys find helpful? Please let me know what other videos, ideas you have. And, just comment below whatever your thoughts are. Have a blessed day. Bye, guys.